Okay, this is test number 4. Do something a little different this time. I already have it worked out, so I'm just going to write on this one and talk about it. Y equals b to the x is the main equation. You know it's exponential. So there's your graph right there. Change this to a different color so you can see. This is your graph right here. Let's see if we can change that brush size. Make it a little bit ink flow 100%. Much better. Here's your graph right here. Notice it has a y equals 0 as a horizontal asymptote. Anytime you have a minus 5, that means your asymptote's going to do what? It's got to shift down 5. It's going to graph up like this, and it's going to cross that axis somewhere. So it's the same curve. Pitiful picture. Let's see if we can clean it up a little bit. I'm just going to undo everything for just a second. There we go. We're going to bring it down. Put my horizontal asymptote at -5. That means this graph drops down, shifts left, so it comes up here. Put a 0 in for x and find my y asymptote. So that's b3 minus 5. B can be any number, so that's where it touches it at. Log is the inverse function. So here's the asymptote, the exponential function. Here's the log because it reflects across the line y equals x, the origin. Most important thing you got to remember about logs is the A and B rule. A and B says that this number right here is always the base. This is always the exponent. This is the answer. So that's x to the z equals 1 is equal to y. Expresses a logarithm. You compressing 1/2 becomes an exponent, which makes it a square root of g minus, look for your positive, so that becomes t squared right here. This becomes f minus 3 to the 3. I missed that. I squared goes on the bottom. That's what that should look like. Negatives goes on the bottom, positives goes on top. That's when you're doing what? Compressing a log. This one you're expanding it. You have 1, 2, 3. So you should have 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. He's on the bottom, so he's negative. His exponent is 2. Throw it in front. This is 1/2 for the fraction, for the square root. 3 goes in front. 3 pieces. B says my base is 4. My exponent is x. 1 over 64. I know 1 over 64 is the same thing as 1 over 4 cubed. So when I kick it up, it becomes a -3. Base the same, kill, x equals -3. Same thing here. If you don't have a number, your base is 10. 10 to the x equals 10,000. How many zeros you see? 4. Kill the 10s, x equals 4. Here comes the next page. Same thing. You gotta go, whoop, sorry. Oops. That's a little bit of, same thing here. Your base is 1/2. Change that to 2. So that become a minus. So this thing right here has to get multiplied by -1. So it becomes -1 minus 2x. 2 to the third is 8. Kill the 2's. You're left with this linear equation. Solve for x. Over here, my base is log. This base 10. This is a log. This is a log. When you're adding 2 logs, you must multiply the 2 pieces. That's why I have a log and a log. Once I get there, I get to kill the logs. I got 5x equals 2x plus c. Solve the linear equation. Boom. Number 10. Got to kick this 2 up here to become an exponent. So I can kill the 2 logs. I now have a quadratic equation. Solve for it. Test it. You cannot take the log of a negative number. That's why I canceled this one out. Number 11. What's my base? E. This is an e. Bring it to the top. Becomes negative. multiply it out, it becomes minus 3x plus 3. Base is the same, kill them, solve the linear equation. X equals 1/4. A and B says my base for number 13 is 4, exponent is 2, answer is 3 minus 2x. I know 4 squared is 16, linear equation, letters left, numbers right, divided by negative 15 divided by 2 should be 7.5. Number 14, same thing. What's the base? 2. What do you want this base over here to be? 2. 2 to the 4 is 16. 2 to the negative 4 is 1 over 16. Kill the 2's, solve the linear equation. 5 becomes negative. Minus 3x equals minus 5. So this guy right here should be minus 3x equals minus 9. 3x equals 9. So x should be 3. I forgot that this should have been a 9 right here. That should have been a 9 right there. So it makes it x equals 3. This is the one people always miss. F of x equals 5x plus 3. What is f of x? F of x is 628. Put it in place of that 6. F of x is 628. Bring the 3 across the bridge. 628 becomes 625 because I switched it. I can rewrite this 625 as a base 5. 5 to the 4 is 625. Kill the 5's, x equals 4. Number 17 is very special. This guy's log 7. If that's not 10, you have to do a change of base. Log of this 24, that's your answer, goes on top. Log of the base goes on bottom. Slap it in the calculator, get your answer. Bonus, you can't change these bases, so you got to put natural logs. So what you do there is that becomes ln of 9 for x plus 3 equals ln 5x plus 4. Throw this in front, throw that in front, that becomes 4x plus 3 times ln 9 equals x plus 4 times ln 5. You have to distribute this as a number. It's just a number. So you have to distribute that as a number. And then you take it from there. That becomes 4x ln 9 in front plus 3 ln 9 equals ln 5x plus 4 ln 5. Letters left, numbers right. Pull out the x, and you should be left with x equals 4 ln 5 minus 3 ln 9 divided by, because you're pulling out an x right here, 4 ln 9 minus ln 5. Put in the calculator and you're ready to go. Once again, number 18, do you see the word continuous? The moment you see continuous, you write down PERT. A equals P, principal. E, just the number. R, rate. Don't forget to make it a decimal. Move it over 2 times to a percent is 100. Times your time is 3. Put in the calculator. Very straightforward. Now the invest problem, notice, doesn't say continuous anywhere, so you got to use the A equals P 1 plus R over N NT formula. I want to triple, so I'm starting with $200. Triple it is 600. 1 plus 0.07. Quarterly means it does it 4 times a year. 4 times T. Divide by 600, divide by 200, I get 3. Now you know you have this letter right here is an exponent, so you got to take the what? Natural log. Took the natural log, took your natural log, through the 4t in front, right? And then we divide it by natural log of 1. Natural log of 1, this should be a 1 right here. 1.0175 divided by the 4 to get the t by itself. This 4t went in front, then we divide it by that, and we have that for our answer, 15.83. 21. Suppose that 5,000 invested interest rate compounded continuously again. That's just a PERT. Straightforward. Actually, this is the same problem as number 18. 22. System of equations. Remember, you got to write it twice. X plus 3y equals 5. 2x minus 3y equals minus 8. The y's are already set up. Push them. You get 3x equals minus 3. So x equals minus 1. Here, you put a 2 here and a 1 here and dance it and see what you get. And then push the x's together and you get x equals minus 1. Remember that the answer, because if you notice, it was the same equation, except that only difference was I want to use the inverse matrix. All you get to Google inverse matrix method, it would have shown you what to do. I gave you the inverse right here. So this is already the inverse. The formula says you take the inverse matrix times the B answer matrix right here, inverse times the answer matrix, multiply them together. This is a 2 by 2 times a 2 by 1. So this is going to be a what? 2 by 1. 2 rows, 1 answer. So when I rotate these guys, I get 5/3 and -8/3, which goes here, gives me -1. 10/9 plus 8/9 is 2. Done. 24. A, B. This says multiply 3 times A first, which is everything here turns into A multiplied by 3. 12, 0, 3. Then I multiply this one by 2. Add them together, I get this. Boom. Compute the product. This is a what? 2 by 2 times a 3 by 2. 3 rows, 2 columns. Not the same number, cannot be done. Sorry, 2 by 3 can be done. So when you multiply these guys, you got to rotate and multiply. You want this row times this column. That gives you this first number right here. That row times this column gives you that number. 26, 2 by 3, 2 by 2. Middle number's not the same, not possible. Inverse, got to go back and remember the formula. Inverse is 1 over AD minus BC. This switch the D's and the A's, change the signs of the other numbers. So this guy right here becomes, this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. So we switch those guys, change the numbers on those guys right there. And it so happened we had to multiply that guy by A times D is 2 times 1 minus 2 times 1 minus 2 times 1 minus 1 times 1, which equals 1. So you multiply this by 1 over 1, which gives us 1 minus 1 minus 1 over 2. That's the inverse. Good luck.